Yes, I am back. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Interdrone Drones at Dawn podcast. I am having technical difficulties today, so as they say, flexibility is the key to air power. If I dive out of here, Richard knows what he's going to talk about. We are so pleased to have him here live from the UK. And the other thing I wanted to say, please, everybody, this is a live event, so put in your comments in the chat. We would love to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your encouragement and see your comments. So please engage with us. That would be awesome. Just a real quick reminder, this podcast is about elevating the drone industry, and we've actually dedicated each month to a different topic. This month is dedicated to movers and shakers, and Richard is one of those people because he's doing amazing things to elevate the industry. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in and start talking to him. So welcome, Richard. Thanks for your flexibility. I know this is now it's like Sunday in the UK around 3:00 p.m. So for us, it's Monday morning. Many of us have our coffee handy. Thank you for spending your weekend time with us. And can you tell us a little bit about your background and Airwards and what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. Really great to be here. Thankfully, it's not a Sunday weekend, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I've had my coffee for the morning, and so definitely I think about my third one. But it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me. I can give you the hop, skip, and jump really of what we're trying to achieve with Airwards and a little bit of my background, but fundamentally, it's a platform, not-for-profit platform that we've set up to recognize drones for good user cases all around the world, and doing that through an awards function and structure.
I love that you're doing that because, Richard, we talk all the time in this industry about the importance of public perception. And, you see sometimes you see negative stories in the news about drones. I think there were a couple of use cases that were inadvisable in the COVID environment, drones yelling at people or maybe taking temperatures, and law enforcement using or attempting to use drones for that purpose. And it scares people away. I also feel like in the media, oftentimes drones are portrayed in a very negative light. I don't know if you had this commercial in the UK, Richard, but we had one. It was, I think it was for an insurance company, and all the people like at the end of a duty day were gathered in their lobby and looking out the doors and running to their cars as these drone swarms were attacking them. And it was just like, this is not reality. There's so many great use cases. So let's talk a little bit more about your background. So you, I believe, really were not into drones, right? Initially, I think you got your drone pilot license, if I recall correctly, in the UK. Tell us kind of your story and your evolution with regards to drones in particular.
Yeah, definitely. So it started my first entry in the career was at a company called Augusta Westland, a helicopter company out here. I did 3 years there, then came up to London to kind of find my footing and started my own digital agency with my old business partner. And we built websites, platforms, apps, did branding. He was the kind of creative powerhouse, and I was the more strategic, steady Eddie one. But in that industry, we saw a lot of recognition platforms, places that you can get awards, places you can be recognized for your work. And one of the things that started to get me into drones was content, and people's websites we were building, seeing a lot of their content being drone specific ones. I started to kind of do a bit more research into how they were being used and what they were being used for. And after I'd left that, I was doing a bit of consultancy and found myself working with 2 phenomenal drone companies, again, more on their business side of things. But that was what led me into the industry, I guess, and gave me that initial footing. So yeah, they were Visual Skies and Drone Prep, one of them an agency, and the other one is a platform for connecting drone pilots to landowners. So yeah, that's kind of how I came here and got here. And the idea for Airwards was really born out of those three areas of my business. I want to say life or career because I don't feel like I've been around that long, but yeah, born from those three areas and just wanting to see more recognition for positive user cases.
So I love that. And that was your, so what inspired you though? So you had this background and you thought, hey, I can connect these things, but what was your inspiration to actually go ahead and do it?
A mixture of quite a lot of things. So you mentioned the negative press, I think, and I'd only ever seen positive uses of it being executed. So I was just working around, I think, doing, like I said, these working as with these companies. COVID hit and I sadly lost all my business. And as I'm sure, a lot of people around the world have had experience of, and just sat there going, okay, that combined with, hang on a sec, how can we change this perception? What's needed? Is it expos? Is it more white papers? How do you bring the public on side? And as I said, from my experience in that digital creative world, just seeing what recognition can do to companies, to small startups, to individuals, really bolstering their own kind of internal workings, externally helping engage people who aren't aware of what people are doing. I just couldn't see a lot of downsides, and I did some research. Is anything else happening like this? And it's a new sector. To date, content has been a big focus, but as I'm sure you know, and a lot of your listeners know, drones are more than just purely an aerial camera. And so the more I learned just how far they can go and how much of a tool they can be used for good, I just thought, well, this surely is an opportunity for companies to be championed and change that perception of what you're reading in the press.
No, I love that. And I want to jump onto something you just said, because this idea that recognition or awards actually changes lives, it changes companies, it elevates them. I mean, I can tell you that I am a living example of that. So I don't know if you know Richard, but I received the Women to Watch, the Women in Drones, Women to Watch and UAS Awards for leadership in 2019. And it really was life-changing for me. It inspired me to create my company. It gave me that confidence to create P3 Tech Consulting. And really the rest is history. And now I'm so proud to be leading that award effort for Sharon Rossmark, the CEO. And it's different than your awards program. We're focused on, individual women and teams that elevate diversity. You're focused really on the entire global ecosystem and those valid use cases. So tell us a little bit more about Airwards. First of all, how does it work? How do people, how exactly does it work?
Definitely, yeah. And it's, again, I feel like we're just going to spend the conversation picking up on what each other said, but I love it. So yeah, Women in Drones is fantastic, and Sharon and what all of them are doing are just brilliant. And so they were one of the first companies I kind of approached actually and said, this is what we're doing. I love what you're doing. Charles Werner from Drone Responders was another one who has a recognition kind of vertical. And I'm just super keen to collaborate. And just the way that we're working together, we've got these differences. And Sharon said something that's really stuck in my head about, there's plenty of room for recognition. And yeah, it's just a really fantastic collaboration there. And one of our other partners as well, Gemma Alcock from Skybound Rescuer, has a similar story to you, where she was recognized for her work, and it's really propelled her forward to take Skybound Rescuer forward. So I think there's just a brilliant chance for us to be highlighting this new industry. But yeah, how does it work exactly? So we're not looking to reinvent the wheel on how awards are run. I think without putting, sounding too cliche, we're looking to revolutionize the way awards are run. We've developed a unique structure and matrix. So yeah, as you rightly pointed, we're trying to cover the whole of the drone industry. I started off with about 120 categories, way too many, and we've got that down to 23. So what we're really trying to find out about is what people are doing, where they're doing it, and why they're doing it. So the groups of categories that we have hopefully cover off every type of eventuality for you as a drone company. And fundamentally, if you're a company doing incredible innovative work with drones, you're using particular technology, you're developing it, you're doing it in a particular sector, then yeah, we're hoping to be the place for you to come submit your user case, be a submission and be recognized, not just amongst your peers, but also kind of the wider public, and ultimately working to educate and excite, I think, those people who aren't aware of the positive impact that they're making. I'm going to be saying positive impact a lot, I think, in this podcast.
That's awesome. No, that's great. So what are the 23 categories? I mean, that's a lot. So I don't know if you want to kind of cluster them. As you said there's, where you're doing it, what you're doing. I think there was a third, and I'm not taking notes and I have a horrible memory. So can you just tell us just kind of generally what the 23 are?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So what you're doing falls under technology, operations, supporting services. Where you do it is then what industry field, and why you do it is our giving back. So an example in the technology category might be the software that's being developed to help enable flight operations. In the operations, it might be to do with survey and inspection. The supporting services is wanting to look a little bit outside. So the consultancy, the insurance, the training companies that are involved. The industry fields group is hopefully self-explanatory, but it covers agriculture, energy, media, transport, and the giving back is focusing on all those amazing stories that I'm still finding out about, of emergency response, humanitarian, public safety, conservation. And we've also got a people's choice where both companies and individuals can be recognized. That's not going to be judged by any one of our judges. That's going to be a purely chance for people to nominate someone inspiring or an inspiring company, and then putting that out to a public vote. So yeah, a whole plethora of different stuff to get involved in.
Okay, so this is your inaugural year. This is your first year doing this. Can you break down kind of the timelines and milestones? What are the different gateways we can expect from Airwards throughout the year?
Yeah, so we're about halfway through, from September to August. So 12th of March is when submissions for this year close. We're going to be announcing judges probably a little bit later than I would have liked to have done, but we've really tried to put in a lot of effort on getting some fantastic people. So March submissions close, April, May judges happen, and then end of May is when we've got a winners week announced, and then September this year to August next year is when it all starts again. So yeah.
So tell us about Winners Week. You mentioned this. What does that look like? Or is this going to be an Emmy Awards like program? And how is it going to be executed?
Definitely a room full of thousands of people. Yeah, no, sadly not this year. It's going to be online. I think I did always envisage it being online, just so that, you can actually then deliver, I think, what I'm trying to do on accessibility, not asking people, hey, you're a 1-2 person company, you've submitted, please can you pay thousands of pounds to fly to London, then hundreds of pounds for a ticket or anything like that. So yeah, we're hoping it's going to be a week of online presentations, engagement, involvement, where each category has its moment to be announced, to have a winner announced. And again, likewise, the People's Choice kind of get their moment as well. So keeping it light and then looking to expand on that next year with a little bit more, and yeah, a lot more partnerships on white talks, on papers, on stuff like that. But we're going to keep it quite focused on just delivering those awards.
I love that. And you're talking about partnerships and other people in this space. I don't know if you've met Chris Tenard. He runs the Arizona Drone Fest. He's with Drone Fest, and they have a really big cinematography, I will call it vertical, where every year they dedicate an entire day or so to these amazing films that were filmed with drones. And so Chris does amazing work, and so I can send you an introduction afterwards, but he's probably someone you want to get to know as well. We had a comment from the audience here, actually more of a question. Will drones actually be recognized in the coming future as a boom towards development, or will it still be neglected by our government or society? What do you think about that, Richard?
Well, I think it's something that I'm hoping to try and achieve and work on. So the first people I was getting in touch with was not your atypical, enterprise drone companies. It was regulators, it was government, trade associations, bodies, to try and say, you're the ones holding this balance of innovation and regulation, and to have you acknowledge that what we're trying to do is to promote positive use. Not only hopefully gives companies that chance to work with the regulators, but also regulators the chance to just see the type of companies who are trying to do good work and who might be hampered by, the rules, the laws, things like that, and just trying to understand and learn about them. So, yeah, I think there's a bit of an uphill battle to climb. There's also a big, a lot of what people are saying on drones will achieve this and it will be $1 billion there's a big expectation, I think, on people within the drone industry to deliver this. And yeah, that while it's going in the right direction, there is a long way to go, and having that public perception, I think, is just so important on making sure that the public feel safe. And as you said earlier, we're not all going to be chased by swarms of drones to our cars or things like that, which I definitely can't see happening. So just promoting those user cases is really important.
So Richard, you mentioned these 32 categories. How exactly can you self-nominate if you're an individual or company, or does somebody else have to nominate you, and how do they do that?
Yeah, so the categories that are entering is for people to put themselves forward and their own entries and user cases and submissions. And then the People's Choice is a nominate only. So you can't self-nominate in that one. The difference being that it's the chance for you, your organization, to put your work forward into one of the categories I mentioned, so delivery, software, energy, and then that People's Choice kind of defeat the point if you're going, I, Dawn, think I am amazing. So it's the chance for people to put other inspiring people or companies as well forward for that one. So giving up that mix.
So you mentioned judges, Richard, and the fact that you wanted to announce them a little bit sooner. Can people nominate themselves to be judges, or how are you selecting judges? Who are they, and how does that work?
Yeah, so that was a tough one. I think there's been a few key aspects to laying the foundations of this year, where I really wanted this year to be credible and to be aligned with the right people, have the right judges, the right partners, etc. So yeah, we allowed both people to apply, but we mainly did our gathering the judges by talking to a lot of different people. And if someone's name came up more frequently, we engaged with them, made sure that they aligned with our ethos, that sense of fairness, unbiased. And so, yeah, we've got a fantastic mix from all over the shop. We've got people from South Africa, the US, Australia, Switzerland, the UK, Senegal, yeah, all over the shop. So we've just closed actually our year one judging application, but we've kind of, because of the feedback we've had from year one, we've opened up year two. So yeah, that'll be open for individuals kind of applying and working out that for year two.
Okay, that's amazing. And are there other ways people can plug into your effort, besides nominating themselves or a company or the People's Choice? They can nominate others, potentially being a judge in the future. What are other ways they can engage with Airwards?
Yeah, I think the Winners Week shortlist announcement, finding us on social and signing up to the newsletter. We're making sure we don't bombard people too much. LinkedIn is our kind of primary place of industry updates. We also put something out which has had some phenomenal, quite overwhelming actually, if that doesn't sound too saccharine, kind of feedback of the GIFs that we put out, where I just didn't see any GIFs and stickers that drone pilots were able to use to bring a bit of fun into what they're doing on social media. So yeah, we've created those for the community. They're completely unbranded, so people don't feel like they're just being bombarded with logos left, right and center. So yeah, all of those different ways I think people can follow us, sign up to what we're doing, get us on social media, and just watch out for that shortlist week and the Winners Week. And feedback as well is massively important to us. We're not going to get it 100% right for year one, and so I'm really open and welcome to comments, feedback, what we're missing. I've had a lot of calls from the hobbyist sector on why we're not recognizing photography or videography or the work they're doing, and I just had to focus, I think, on one piece. So again, I've got a lot of phone calls kind of set up over the next few months about how that could be introduced for year two.
Oh, that's great. And I just wanted to also mention we've got a couple shout outs from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina here today. So hello, Myrtle Beach. Thanks for dialing in. No, that's great. And you mentioned you're already getting nominations. Obviously, they close out in about a month. Yeah. Without revealing too much, what kind of use case, like, what are you seeing? Like, can you tell us at all, like, what you're seeing? What kind of use cases you're seeing?
I would love to. And we're seeing some brilliant examples, I think, from genuinely all around the world. But yeah, you'll have to wait until the shortlist is announced at the end of April to see what those are and what they are. So yeah, sadly, I can't give too much information about that. But again, I just keep being amazed at what drones are being used for. What as a tool, where are they being used? How are they being used? In what circumstances are they being used? So yeah, seeing some brilliant ones coming out.
Okay, well, we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled to check out what ultimately wins, and hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about just even the nominees, so we can all get a good idea of what's out there, right? By the way, Denver, Colorado is shouting out as well, so right up the road from here. Hello, Denver. And someone is loving your plants, Richard. You've got those beautiful plants in the background, and so nice comments. And thanks everybody for chatting us up. Keep it coming. We love the feedback. We love to know you're out there listening and loving Richard's plants and coming from all kinds of places in the United States. So let's transition for a second, Richard, unless there's anything else you wanted to specifically talk about with regards to Airwards and the process and nominating judges when this is all going to be announced in awards week and whatnot. I'd like to kind of pick your brain and get a little bit of wisdom for the group that's out there from your experience.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would mention that you just touched on was that nomination shortlist, etc. So being an awards, there is going to be a winner, and someone who, this independent group of, well, ourselves, as I said, not for profit, we're not aligned to a company or a country or anything like that. We've tried to make sure the judges are from a varied background. They cover off every vertical that we've the categories we've got. So yeah, while we will have one company, one individual winning, one of the things that was important to me was shining a spotlight on these user cases. So we haven't got a gold, silver, bronze. Instead, we've got potentially two, three honorable mentions within a category. The shortlist itself, we want to be engaging with people who do get through to that level. And yeah, we don't want it just to be focused on the winners. So draw a parallel with the Oscars, and you have actors, actresses, directors, all kind of best actress nominee and the like. So I'd love for companies to be able to shout out and say, I got down to kind of that level of recognition as well as the winners. So yeah, that's the only thing I think I'd like to say.
There's a really important thing that we both forgot to say, and someone in the audience has asked us this. Are there actual prizes associated with the awards other than just the recognition? Scott Schofman out of Texas, a buddy of mine, he's saying he'd like a really shiny trophy as well as possibly a sponsor gift basket. So what are your thoughts? What might you see as prizes for winning that besides just the recognition?
Yeah, so good pat on the back, certificate, recognition. We are working on a trophy, so yeah, well spotted there. And I'd love to bring a bit of physicality to this online, this world everyone's in at the moment of not being able to go to an event or anything. So yeah, having a digital swag bag is definitely on the list, and I'm in a lot of conversations with sponsors, partners about what we can be giving back to those. And then also a physical one will probably come in year 2. So I'm trying not to bite off more than I can chew, but yeah, all those different things. And for the winners, things like interviews, really highlighting their work. I had a friend a few weeks ago say, you could do a TV channel program or something about the winners. And I was like, okay, year three. All right, let's put that back. So yeah, we've got a lot of plans on how to continue that shining spotlight on those different use cases and have that straddling our September, October, November time as well. So yeah, a lot of good stuff on the way.
Yeah, I apologize. It actually wasn't Scott. Scott asked about the prizes, and then one of his colleagues, and it's tiny and I can't read it. Maybe with my glasses I can. Someone was saying about the shiny trophy and gift basket. Jason had mentioned that. So yes, I'm old. I have to use glasses to see the chat. So no, that's great. And of all people, I appreciate how these awards programs evolve over time. You're not going to have the big check to hand people in the first year because you have to build that sponsor base and everything like that. We're doing that with women in drones this year. This is the first year that we're actually giving micro grants to our award winners. So that's exciting. So more to follow on that later, but we're focused on Airwards today. And Richard, thank you so much for explaining. Thank you for putting this nonprofit together to elevate the industry, to turn around public perception to the extent that there are still naysayers out there, people that don't understand what drones can do, drones for good for society. I mean, this is all amazing. So in the last couple of minutes we have together, let's transition real quick and like to pick your brain. I mean, you've got a ton of experience in the tech industry, right? And in branding. And so we just have about 2 minutes left. My question to you is, what resource would you tell folks is the best resources they should go to elevate their businesses or their careers?
That's a good one. Best resource. I think a little bit of, this is going to sound like looking so twofold. One, focusing on a minimal viable product, I think, and just whatever you're doing, making sure you don't over-engineer it, think about it for too long, sit on it for too long, worry about is it right, is it wrong, etc. That was always a big thing for me in my past experience of explaining to people that get it out there, get it running, trial it, test it with friends, your network. People are busy, but you'd be amazed at how much people are willing to lend their support or opinion or anything like that. So just trialing it and testing it and getting some feedback and looking at it really objectively, and I don't want to say harshly, but looking at it really honestly, being open to criticism, change, but also not dwelling on that. I've had a lot of people say, why don't you do this with Airwards? Why don't you do that with Airwards? Why aren't you doing this? And some of it you say, yeah, that's a great idea, I'll take that on board. Give people reasons why you're not. But yeah, I think it's good to have that feedback in all situations, not just at the beginning, but throughout your process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, taking in stakeholder feedback is critical. You have to really look in the mirror and say, okay, is what I'm doing, is there a value proposition here? Is what I'm doing worthwhile? And that's probably a great transition to kind of close it out. Thank you so much, Richard. I think your value proposition is amazing. That's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you are a new face to this space. You're doing, I can't wait to see this awards week and hopefully be a part of that with you. So thank you for what you're doing. Thanks everybody for dialing in. And I want to just say real quick, if you didn't get to see last week, our first mover and shaker was Miriam McNabb. So you can dial in on Launchpad and look at that later. This will also be available. So tell your friends about it. I also have a Patreon page, which will show at the end of this. Next week, our mover and shaker is going to come at you live from Israel. We've got Yuval Kaspi from Skywatch, and it's an insurance company. And so we're going to talk about how to protect your business. So anyway, I think that's it for now. I think that's a wrap. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Be well, stay safe, take good care, and happy Monday out here.
Thank you.